When he says Kevin Durant is more gifted than Michael Jordan, what do you say?
Yeah, listen, I did have the great misfortune of playing against Michael Jordan a lot. I had the great misfortune of playing against Vince Carter, too. Neither one of those guys were a lot of fun, okay? But here's the thing. I get where he's coming from, and I understand why he would say that. Because think about this. There's never been a player who's ever been in this league that height with that combination of handle and shooting ability. He is singular in that. And I think that's really what Steve Kerr is talking about. To be 6'11", with that kind of handle, that kind of ability to shoot the basketball from anywhere on the floor, we've never seen a guy like this before. Now, having said that, if we're just talking about the physical tools of the game, shoot, pass, dribble, those kinds of things, height, length, okay, I get where he's coming from. But the one thing Michael Jordan had that, to me, was the greatest I've ever competed against, the competitive will, is just, to me, on a level by itself, and that's why he's considered the greatest of all time. There are other guys 6'6" like Michael Jordan. There were other guys as strong as him. There were other guys as quick as him. There were other guys with better handle, better shooters during his era, even in the league. There's never been anybody that had that skill with that competitive will, and that's why Michael Jordan is in a place by himself. But if you're just talking about the tools, what's in your toolbox, I totally understand why Steve Kerr would say that. It makes a lot of sense.
You know, and we brought this up earlier, Vince Carter, it was raised by PJ that you would have competed against Michael a lot in the summers, that all you Carolina guys go back there. And so with that thought in mind, can you just give us a glimpse into that? I want to hear your take on this, but also just a glimpse into that. What were those workouts like?
It was the same as playing them, in the NBA. Like, he wanted to win all the time. He would take the third string guys to walk on and would still win. He wanted to win by any means all the time. He didn't want any of us, particularly as college guys and young guys, to think at any point you will be better than me. And I'm gonna make sure you know that now. So if you happen to come into the NBA while I'm there, you already have in your mind, I'm Michael Jordan and you're not better than me. And we understood that, point blank. So I agree with you, Legs. Like, what Steve Kerr is saying is this. He has everything. Kevin Durant, that is, has everything. The greatest player of all times, Michael Jordan. He's saying that. The greatest winner, Michael Jordan. But skill-wise, that gift, Kevin Durant, 6'11", name something that he cannot do offensively. Like, he has the handle. He has the jump shot. He has the pull-up jump shot with the ball in his hand. He's a spot shooter. He can do that. He can do whatever you want, mid-range, get to the basket, super athletic. So what Steve Kerr is saying is not far-fetched, and I agree with him. Kevin Durant has it all, but obviously Michael Jordan is the greatest winner and player of all time.
If he's watching us down at the Grove this morning in Florida, I just have a feeling Michael Jordan is getting aggravated with this conversation.
Of course he is.
Marcus Spears.
Of course he is.
I'll give it to you. Go ahead, Big Swagoo. What do you think?
KD is the most gifted basketball player of all time, all right? And it's because of the ability to create his own shot, being 6'11", and his handles. But here's the real conversation, G. I'm thinking about it. I'm listening to Legs and VY talk about this. Two guys that know more basketball in their pinky than I know, but I know a little bit. I wonder how we would view MJ if we had cyborgs like this in the NBA during his time. If we had the James Hardens, if we had the KDs, if we had the LeBron James, how would we view the Kobe Bryants, like all of these guys being in the league at the same time in their prime? I wonder how the view would change with these guys now. That's the only question that comes to my mind. But as far as gifts, yes, man, KD is the gifted one in the NBA. But the bottom line is, it wasn't guys like this in the league when MJ was in his prime.
Hold on. I'm raising my hand.
Wait a minute.
Someone needs to say this. Tim Legler, as one who played in that era. Remember when P.J. Tucker was guarding Kevin Durant so physically and the whole world was ready to lose their mind? And, oh, my goodness, how could we allow this? That was a quiet defensive performance when Michael Jordan was playing. Guys would grab him, hold him, knock him to the ground. The level of defense that was played and the physicality that was played when Michael Jordan was at his apex, Tim Legler, it was 100 times what it is now.
Tell it, Tim. Come on, Tim.
Yeah, listen. Come on. I hear the point the Swagoo's making. I hear that point, but listen. Here's the thing. You talked about the defense that P.J. Tucker was playing, how physical it was. The only difference between that defense the other night and the defense that was, in the decade that Michael Jordan played, at the end of that possession, somebody's going to pull a crowbar out of their sock and hit you over the head just as you're releasing the ball. It was a rock fight just to get to the rim on any possession. So we can talk about that. You know, hey, he didn't have to play against guys that quite looked like James Harden or Kevin Durant during that era. I understand that. But guess what? If you put Michael Jordan on the floor today, with the way the game is officiated, with what the league has gone for, with the amount of space, with the lack of physical contact on ball handlers, on guys finishing at the rim, there is absolutely no question in my mind that Michael Jordan would lead the league in scoring every single year. And he probably would be somewhere around 40 a night, because the one thing you could do to him, you could try at least, was to try to get into his body. I mean, you know, I was a guy, even like, I used my physical strength as an advantage because the guy was so quick. You could at least try to dictate where he was going to go with physical contact 30 feet from the rim. And then, my goodness, I usually had two bouncers at the club in the lane behind me ready to beat him up if he got in there. Now it's no contact on the perimeter. Nobody's coming to lay you out. They're worried about the instant replays, ejections, flagrant twos. None of that stuff existed. So to put him in a court today with as competitive as he was, as tough as he was, as skilled, as quick, there's no doubt in my mind Michael Jordan would lead the league in scoring every year by a wide margin.
Go ahead, Vince.
And I'm just going to add one thing, and it's the hand checking. You can't put your hands on these guys now. And just imagine, Michael Jordan was averaging 29 to 30 plus points a game in regular season in the playoffs with hand checking. Now you can't touch him.
Yeah.
You couldn't touch MJ then without getting a foul. Imagine what it looks like now. And you know Michael Jordan will adapt to the game today. And the one thing that will get guys is his ability to get in one or two dribbles to the pump fake. It's Michael Jordan. You're going to react to every move he does. And his pump fake alone will draw fouls, and he'll get 10, 12 points off the free throw line.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.